In the heart of Colorado, at the foot of the Rocky Mountains, sits Denver. A mile-high city with a football team whose history lives in rarefied air. From the early days of the AFL to their emergence into one of the NFL's elite franchises.
It is over. The miracle has happened. The Broncos are going to the Super Bowl.
The Broncos have enjoyed plenty of mile-high memories.
The crowd has lost their mind. Terrell Davis has just become only the fourth player to go over 2,000 yards in a single season. 98.5-yard drive. Never say never. Draw to Biner. Ernest Biner. Fumble the ball, and Denver has recovered. Oh, my.
These are the greatest moments in Denver Broncos history.
Let's go. Sense of urgency from here on out, right?
This is it. Come on. Denver's going to win it. Are you kidding me?
This one's for John.
Among the original American Football League owners, nobody faced bigger obstacles than Denver's Bob Howsam.
Here in Denver, we had a stadium, and we were hoping to enlarge it because we were talking about the Continental Baseball League at that time, and so it fit right in. I wanted a football team here for the fans because I thought we had great fans. We built what is called the South Stands today. That's where our Roughnecks and the Broncos are, and of course we bought 11,000-seat bleacher section to put in. Our offices, when we started, quite frankly, was a Quonset hut, just like the Marines would have had it.
This is where the 1960 Denver Broncos set up shop under head coach Frank Filchock.
His big thing in practice was, let's play a touch football game. And he'd play this game by like for 2 hours straight. And that's what he considered his practice sessions, you say.
Among the dozens who aspired to play in Denver lurked a diamond in the rough named Lionel Taylor.
We were playing one of Frank Filchock's touch football games, and Lionel makes a couple of one-handed grabs, and all of a sudden we're running a few pass patterns to see whether this guy is for real or whether he can only do this in a touch football game.
The quarterback soon discovered Taylor was the real deal. Frank Tripucka joined the Broncos as an assistant coach. He hadn't thrown a professional pass since the 1952 Detroit Lions.
Dublinsky and George Herring were the quarterbacks, and they're not doing anything. So at halftime, Filchock says to me, you're in shape. Why don't you get dressed and go out and give the people some of their money's worth? He says, throw a few passes, at least they'll enjoy it. So I did that, and 4 years later, I was still with the Broncos.
In 1960, the Broncos were part of the first AFL game ever played. Denver defeated the Boston Patriots 13-10, but won only 3 games the rest of the way, finishing 4-9-1. In 1961, Lionel Taylor became the first player in history to catch 100 passes in a season. Taylor was the lone bright spot in Denver's dark football landscape. Not only could the Broncos not win, but they looked bad not doing it. Take their uniforms, for example, the most unflattering costumes in the history of American professional sports.
Mustard-colored jerseys with chocolate brown pants and those vertical striped socks that we wore.
People would laugh at you. He said, we feel sorry for you, that y'all have to wear stuff like that.
They were the ugliest looking things you ever wanted to see. And of course, I believe that he probably got them used from some high school team because the sizes were very small. I had to cut the armpits in order to be able to put the jerseys on top of my shoulder pads in order to raise my arm up.
In fact, the uniforms were recycled from an old college bowl game. The socks were strictly clearance sale. In 1961, the Broncos won just 3 of 14 games, making them the worst team in the AFL over the league's first 2 seasons, prompting new head coach Jack Faulkner to take action.
They took and they piled up all the old uniforms, including the socks. These 2 guys came out onto the field with torches, and they circled the field in front of the fans and dropped the torches into the pile of old uniforms, and that was the end of them.
Nobody wore the Broncos' new colors more proudly than Lionel Taylor.
Had great hands, had a great sense of timing. Couldn't remember his name to start with, Lionel Taylor. All I kept calling him was the guy with the name like a train, meaning Lionel Train.
Though he never experienced a winning season, Taylor retired with 543 career catches, a team record that stood for a third of a century, until surpassed by Hall of Famer Shannon Sharpe in 1999.
We threw practically every play, but Lionel could catch the ball.
In his 7-year Broncos career, Taylor caught passes from a dozen different quarterbacks, yet still won 5 AFL receiving titles.
You put the ball any place near him, he was going to catch it.
Despite hand-me-down clothes and humble black and white beginnings, the fledgling Denver Broncos found a standard-bearer in Lionel Taylor. One can only imagine what he might have accomplished on a winning team. In 1967, Denver Broncos fans welcomed 2 major additions to their football team. Owners Jerry and Alan Phipps made Lou Saban the team's 4th head coach.
Lou reorganized the football operation. He also told Jerry Phipps that they needed a practice facility. If we're going to be a first-class organization, we've got to have facilities that match what other organizations have.
We didn't even have a practice field. We built this thing up in conjunction with the fans of this area who contributed largely to the operation over the past 3 years. People in this area have really supported the Broncos, but we also knew that eventually we had to win. But they just wouldn't accept losing, which they've been doing for 10 years.
7, to be exact. So Saban drafted Syracuse All-American running back Floyd Little, the very first of Denver's #1 selections to actually sign with the club.
Floyd, in my opinion, was probably the savior of this organization in that regard. He gave a face and he gave excitement to a team that was looking for that individual, that catalyst to put them over the top in terms of national media.
The bow-legged dynamo made Denver proud.
I don't consider myself a power runner. I think I rely on speed, elusiveness, quickness. Actually, I run as fast as necessary, and I don't try to run over anybody. I just try and run around as many people as I can.
Denver had its next football hero, a young man of substance, always giving his best to both town and team.
Denver is my adopted town. I love it here. I know that without enough water, there will be fewer jobs and fewer job opportunities. You see, I work here myself. I'm Floyd Little.
Little could not reverse the Broncos' fortunes by himself, but his toughness and tenacity produced big plays and kept Broncos fans interested. Now, Lou Saban needed to find himself a quarterback. In 1968, Denver used a late-round draft choice on a small college passer named Marlon Briscoe.
Let's go! You want job? It's your ball game tonight.
Briscoe came off the bench in week 3 and very nearly engineered a come-from-behind victory over the Boston Patriots.
He came out and he made some great moves, could run. That's another factor. He was a fine ball carrier once he got into the open, and we almost pulled that game out of the fire.
The crowd went crazy. Time ran out, we lost the game. But we came back with like 10 points in one quarter. And so the next game, there was like 30,000 more fans, some ungodly amount of attendance.
They knew one thing, it was going to become exciting. One thing about Marlon, he was going to be all over the place, and the fans were excited themselves. As far as being black, white, or pink, or blue, it didn't make any difference. Here was a talent that could electrify the fans, and the team itself that surrounded him enjoyed seeing him do the things that he was doing.
I still have the record for the most touchdown passes by a Denver Bronco rookie, even over John Elway, and it still stands today. I threw 14 touchdown passes, something of that nature. That record still stands, and I'm kind of proud of that.
Unfortunately, in Lou Saban's 5 seasons with the Broncos, 5 wins were the most any of his teams could record.
God almighty. Listen, we got to do a job. You guys got to give me some help. Bobby, come on now. Come on, defense. Come on now, Chipper. Come on, John. What is this? Huh? Who? Why are you running? Get him down. Play football. Get him down in there, damn it. Be alert. What the hell's the matter with you guys? My daughter could do better. They're killing me, Whitey. They're killing me. Impossible to believe.
In 1971, the year Lou Saban departed at midseason, Floyd Little became the Broncos' first ever 1,000-yard rusher and won the league rushing title. Could a winning season be far behind?
Hey, now I gotta have that great coverage. All right, we're gonna knock one clean out of here. All right, now come on, man. Let's get a hand in here. Let's go down there and knock somebody's jack off. What do you say? Come on, let's go to work.
New head coach John Ralston preached togetherness and made just one demand of the 1972 Broncos.
Let's go, Floyd! We need 7!
Ralston wanted a victory over the Oakland Raiders.
Tell those guys to stay after him now! Stay on top now, baby! Dig him, Graham!
The guy's playing scared. All you gotta do is keep in his face and press and spray him all over the place.
For the first time in a decade, the Broncos beat their AFC West rivals. The following year, Monday Night Football came to Mile High Stadium.
All right, now this is when you find out what kind of football team we have. Find out how badly we want to play the game.
Okay.
With 41 seconds left to play, a George Blanda field goal gave the Raiders a 23-20 lead. But Ralston rallied his troops, and Denver staged an improbable comeback. Jim Turner's last-second kick earned the Broncos a tie in their primetime television debut.
The electricity, the energy from that stadium, you could have lit up the rest of the world. It being Monday night, it being the Raiders, and the Broncos having the season that they were having, all of a sudden there was hope. If we hadn't done anything after that, then it would have been lost.
John Ralston's 1973 Denver Broncos lost only 2 more games the rest of that memorable campaign. Their late-season role included a road win against a powerful Steelers team and a huge mile-high victory over the Chiefs. By the time they arrived in San Diego, the Broncos had all the incentive they needed. Fittingly, Denver's future Hall of Famer was finally part of a winning Broncos team.
For the players, it was a confidence builder to let us know that we were capable of winning, regardless of what sports writers or what the rest of the world thought. We all wanted to prove that the Denver Broncos were an organization that at some point in time would be to reckon with, and those were good times.
Under John Ralston, Denver put together 3 winning seasons that further energized its already rabid fan base and spawned a social phenomenon.
The origin of Bronco Mania moving into a new era was the inception of an Orange Sunday. Everybody was told to bring something orange, wear something orange. And that was one day, one Sunday. The next year, there would be another Orange Sunday, but everybody took every Sunday and made it into an Orange Sunday. By 73 or 74, to look out and to say Sea of Orange was so absolutely true that orange became not only the team's colors, but orange became a way of life in Denver.
I think all Bronco fans go to heaven if they've been real good Bronco fans, and it's orange up there, I've been told.
By 1977, an empty seat in Mile High Stadium was an act of treason.
In attendance today, 76,082 people, meaning there are 46 tickets unused.
In that year, new head coach Red Miller breathed fire into Bronco Mania, insisting that a winning season was no longer enough, that Denver, Colorado deserved a champion.
Red brought that professional atmosphere to the team that Ralston was never able to do, because Ralston was more of the college rah-rah type coach.
One of Miller's first moves was to acquire a veteran quarterback. Craig Morton proved to be a perfect fit. The Broncos won their first 6 games, including a rout of the Raiders in Oakland.
Morton is back, looking, steps to the side, throws the pass. Touchdown, Riley Odom!
Oakland was the defending Super Bowl champion. Denver showed no respect, rolling over Raiders quarterback Ken Stabler. They picked him off 7 times, one shy of the NFL record.
Stabler in the end zone, rolling to his right, looking, a flag down as the pass is intercepted at the 15. Return for a touchdown by Lewis Wright.
18 years of second-class citizenship came to an end.
42-yard try by Turner. Ball is down. It's a fake. Weiss looking, throwing. Turner wide open, catches the ball at the 15. He'll score a touchdown.
John Madden's Raiders were thoroughly trashed, and Denver's love affair with its football team took on entirely new dimensions.
Bronco Mania is when you wake up in the morning and you look in the mirror and this is what you look like. And it just happens.
Bronco Mania is a feeling. It's the city, it's the state. It pulls us all together.
Broncos! Broncos!
Go Broncos! Go Broncos! Go Broncos!
Me, this van, all these fans, this is our pride and joy. We are Bronco Mania.
In Denver, Colorado, Red Miller carried a blank check. And unlike all his predecessors, this Bronco head coach intended to cash it. In key November matchups where the Broncos historically had failed, Red Miller's team won 4 consecutive games against quality AFC opponents, 2 at home and 2 on the road, leading to a historic day in Houston, Texas. There, Craig Morton did what he'd been doing all season long, and the Broncos prevailed. Red Miller's post-game locker room celebration was nothing compared to what awaited them back home in Denver.
We capture the AFC Western Division title on an airplane.
And we arrived at Stapleton Airport, and I just remember all the fans, as soon as we got off, we walked through the concourse, and there were fans all over yelling and screaming, and you could hear musical sounds going on, and drums and trumpets, and people just going crazy.
And I guess the only thing you could compare it to would be like a coronation.
And I had never seen anything like it. You know, that feeling of a rock star where people were grabbing at you, so excited to be a part of this first episode of winning. We're winning. And we're not only winning, but it looks like we may have a chance to actually do something at the end of the season.
Good afternoon from Mile High Stadium in Denver. This is Bob Martin with Larry Zimmer as the Denver Broncos meet the Pittsburgh Steelers. The first time in the history of the Bronco franchise they have ever been in a playoff game.
As evening settled in over Mile High Stadium, Red Miller cautioned his quarterback that the two-time Super Bowl champion Steelers would be playing for a turnover. For the first time in team history, the Denver Broncos would play for a title. In the conference championship game, Craig Morton's very first pass of the day went to Haven Moses for a 74-yard touchdown. Morton's final handoff resulted in a game-clinching first down that rocked Mile High Stadium to its foundation.
The 39 have a first down, jumping up and down on the sidelines. The fans respond. Listen to this crowd. The Broncos on the field. It is over. The miracle has happened. The Broncos are going to the Super Bowl.
In Super Bowl 12, the Denver Broncos took on the Dallas Cowboys.
Hey, listen now. 4 quarters, 60 minutes, and we're the champions. Yeah! Let's go, baby!
2 long Cowboys touchdowns spelled doom for Denver.
We lost, and as the clock was winding down, they all stood up and started chanting, "We love you, Broncos." We looked back, we couldn't believe it. We thought we had let them down. We have had championship teams, we've had Super Bowl teams, but that first one, I don't think anyone will ever forget that.
This is Bronco Mania. Granada Hills High School, near Los Angeles, California. In 1978, the year the Broncos played in their first Super Bowl, Granada Hills' sensational senior quarterback threw some pretty amazing passes.
Elway back to throw. Got a man open, going to the end zone. It is touchdown, Granada Hills! And the people just cannot believe it.
In the Pac-10, John Elway did the very same things he did at Granada Hills. And not only did he quarterback the football team, he also played 2 years of college baseball, which led to a summer of baseball with the New York Yankees single-A farm team. That gave the Stanford All-American options when it came to his professional career.
Don Weiss has just received a card from the Colts desk. Let's see what the commissioner says.
Baltimore selects as the first choice in the draft quarterback John Elway of Stanford.
We have had John Elway, if you've just joined us, selected by Baltimore. There has been no trade yet. There will be a press conference at 5 Eastern, 2 Pacific time, at which point John Elway may address the question. And we have reports, as Greg Wyatt told us, that already this told Frank Kush he won't play for the Colts.
We had been in discussions with him 2 and 3 months before the draft that I was not going to play in Baltimore, that if that came to it, I was going to play baseball for the Yankees, and I was fortunate to have an option.
Elway's option had less to do with wanting to play for George Steinbrenner and more to do with leverage to force a trade.
I know, Bud, you say you'd be very, very surprised to see him play baseball, even though our early indications today, now that Baltimore has drafted John Elway, is that he will play with the Yankees. I'd be surprised to see him play baseball, too. He can be the best in football. In baseball, he can be a starter and fairly productive.
I want to give myself the best chance to be the best quarterback that I could, and I looked at that organization and what they were doing, and I didn't think that that was going to give me the best chance to show off my talent. Not show off my talents, but to win a Super Bowl.
But Frank Kush and the Colts were insistent on either calling Elway's bluff or finding the best possible deal.
From the very beginning, when we talked to him at the Senior Bowl, for instance, he said, look, let's put the cards on the table. Yes, we need multiple players. Yes, we need a lot of people to make this club go. But if I don't feel I can get enough of a package, then I will draft John Elway.
John Elway has just gotten off the phone with the Stanford Sports Information Director, and he says there may be something cooking. And that is that the San Diego Chargers have 2 picks coming up, and that's a number 20 and a number 22. Possibility, the Chargers are going to offer the 20, 22, and a first-round draft pick from next year to pick up Elway. And, of course, there's the other possibility, and that's Al Davis a little bit later in this draft. The Los Angeles Raiders had a firm offer beginning last night, and that was for 3 first-round draft picks and 1 player, be it Howie Long, be it their backup quarterback, Mark Wilson. So one way or the other, it was definitely a firm pick, 3 draft picks, and 1 player. And as far as the Raiders are concerned, they never got a call back from the Colts today.
I was saying, God, I hope this goes and plays football, because if he does, I'm out of a job.
Not long thereafter, the Colts found the right partner, and John Elway found himself huddling up with the Denver Broncos.
Ace left topo, double 36 OT on 1-on-1. Ready?
The California Golden Boy worked no sudden miracles.
Yeah, 6-1 set. Red 98. Red 98.
My expectations were higher than the expectations that people were putting on me. First snap I ever took. Jack Lambert standing across me in Pittsburgh, my first regular season, and playing middle linebacker, and no teeth. He's snarling, he's spitting, he's yelling at me, and I'm going, God, you can have all the money back. You can just blink me out of here right now. I'll go beat an accountant. But that was pretty intimidating, seeing him and realizing what the NFL was all about. But there's no question, that first year it was frustrating.
Good afternoon from Memorial Stadium in Baltimore. It's 100 degrees here right now, but that's nothing compared to the temperature in the stands where 50,000 fans have come to boo John Elway.
In week 2, Denver visited the city that Elway had rejected.
We went out there, and they brought the house, they were blitzing, and me being a rookie was logical. The whole year was tough for me. It was tougher. It was a tougher jump than I thought it was going to be. I went from a $5 million man to a nickel man in a real small amount of time. You know, it's tough being thrown to the wolves right away, but I think as long as your confidence doesn't get shattered, you learn so much quicker playing than you do standing on the sideline and watching.
Knowledge that Elway drew upon in a December rematch with the Colts.
There was definitely a lot of incentive for me to want to win this and to be down 19-0.
Elway throwing it to the end zone for Sampson. He's got the ball, touchdown.
I remember the next pass was to Jesse Miles. We called it dart right. It was like a one-man screen to the fullback and out of shotgun, and he caught the ball and made a great run and got us back in the football game at 19-14. Now we were really back into it.
Denver's $5 million rookie was about to beat the clock for the first of many times in his career.
4th down and 2 Broncos. Elway is back. Here comes the safety blitz.
It was an easy pass for me. I just dumped in the ball, and he did the rest of the work from there.
Wilhite at the 10. Wilhite at the 5. Wilhite to the goal line. Touchdown! 4th and 2, and the Broncos get the touchdown to go ahead.
Being able to do that my rookie year helped my confidence, and plus it was a great feeling to do against the Colts. And I dug my way out of that hole until we went to the Super Bowl my 4th year.
I think that's what the Broncos paid $5 million for. Yeah, I would say.
The first-round phenom spent the next 15 seasons snatching victory from defeat for the Denver Broncos.
He has the strongest arm I've ever seen in my life. I've never seen a guy move that kind of arm in my life.
6 seconds to go. Steps up in the pocket, looking long. Here goes the pass. Rod Smith up. He got it! Broncos win!
He holds the league's all-time record for the most game-winning or game-saving final possession drives.
Elway's got the ball to the end zone. It's Johnson, touchdown!
This guy will go down as the greatest come-from-behind player in National Football League history.
Never say never! Never say never!
He's the man! He's still the man!
He left the game as the winningest starting quarterback ever. The Broncos waived their own 5-year rule to retire his number.
And last but not least, to all those Bronco fans out there,
in 2004, Denver's Rocky Mountain royalty fulfilled his athletic destiny.
thank you for everything. And this final Mile High salute is for every one of you out there. Thank you.
By 1986, the Denver Broncos were a legitimate contender. John Elway was in his 4th year, ready to prove critics wrong and show them he could win the big game.
We've been working for a long time. Let's go out and have some fun now. Let's get active from the start.
Hang on, folks. Fasten your seatbelts. We could have a shootout here on the lakefront.
The predicted shootout in the 1986 AFC Championship was more of a defensive battle until the game's final minutes.
Big 3rd down play here now with the time running down to 6 minutes.
Take him all the way, Bernie. Take him home.
Fontenot in the backfield on the 3rd and 6.
Kosar backpedaling. He's throwing a home run ball for Brennan. Turns one way, turns the other. He's got it. Ball at the 50. Touchdown. 5. Touchdown Browns. And once again, it's Pandemonium Palace at the House of Thrills on Lake Erie. You may have just seen the straw that broke the Broncos' back.
The Browns' celebration began prematurely.
We are going to win it.
You never know with Elway and company. They've got the great capability of striking quickly.
It's the Browns, 20-13.
I can remember getting ready for the kickoff, and in my mind, I'm thinking about plays that we can run from our own 20, and so kind of have an idea of what plays you want to run, and all of a sudden they kick off.
All right, here's Mosley's kickoff. It's a floater that hits at the 15, skips inside the 5. It's all the way back in the 2. The Broncos can't cover it, and now they do it the 1-yard line.
When you looked around the huddle, I think everyone had a confidence in him, but it was mixed with just enough fear to make us play well.
We know we have to make a drive, and we have to put some points on the board. It's total concentration, and I can remember the only thing that is kind of gunned down in the history books was Keith Bishop saying,
I just said to the other offensive linemen, the people in the huddle, we had them right where we wanted them.
And then the huddle sat, and you can see this confidence in John's eyes as he began to instruct us on what the first play would be as we started the drive.
I got to tell you something right now, gentlemen. 5:34 left in the ball game. The Browns defense has done it all game long. It's now up to them to get that ball back, and we're history.
Pocket. Set hot. Red 98.
Let's see what happens here as this one ticks down to its final moment.
Watson right, Johnson left. Elway in the end zone and throwing it. It's complete. Winder dives out to the 7-yard line. Picks up a little operating room there.
People forget the key play right there was the first play, because now you're not backed up in your end zone. You've got some room to operate.
He tried to get out of bounds. The official says he didn't make it there, and that keeps the clock running, and that, of course, is exactly what Cleveland wants.
They lead 20-13. Vance Johnson's in motion, reverses the motion, and the pitch is to Winder. Winder coming to the right, cuts to the 10-yard line, and the Broncos will have third down and about 2. Spot the ball a little short of the 10-yard line. No shotgun. Denver with a 3rd and 2 at the 9. Sewell in motion from the H. Give the ball to Winder, and Sammy into the middle, driving, and he should just about have the first down at the 12-yard line. Stretch out the chain. Denver has the first down.
Well, that's step number 1. They needed that one.
That was a very important play, and I remember when it unfolded, I thought, gosh, that was really a great opportunity lost.
The most famous drive in Broncos history took almost 2 minutes to go only 13 yards.
Elway's dropped the play fake, runs up in the pocket, running left, John's across the 20 and out to the 26-yard line as the first down.
Now that's where John Elway can do it on his own.
But with 2 minutes and 51 seconds and the clock running, Elway can run at 6 or 7 yards a clip all the rest of the day, and it won't matter.
Backed up on their own 25-yard line, with under 3 minutes to go, Elway went to work.
Wilhite and Sewell are the running backs. Mitchell, the H-back. Elway to pass on first down. The pass for Sewell. Got it and keeps it at the 48-yard line, and was he hammered.
Elway threaded the needle for 22 yards, and the chains keep moving.
That was the best throw that Elway has put in the air in this ball game, and Sewell was wide open in that soft middle of the Browns coverage.
It was called Fire Pass 94, and I had the option to either go to the corner or to the post, and ran down the field, and I saw that the safeties were split, so I decided to go to the post, and John didn't quite get it as much to the middle as I would have liked, because I wouldn't have gotten hit that way, but I had to go up and get the ball and get hit right as I caught it.
This one's going to go down to the 2-minute warning. Broncos will probably get one more play here. They've moved from their own 2.
Still Sewell and Wilhite. Elway's drop, and the pass this time is caught at the 40-yard line in Cleveland territory.
Come on, Johnny! Say it!
1:52 remaining. The Broncos have 2 timeouts.
2nd and 10. Elway reaches under center, goes back to throw. Elway under pressure, and down he goes. Elway is sacked at the 49-yard line by Dave Pizzulli.
Just as the drive began to move, it was again stalled, leaving the Broncos with a crucial 3rd and 18.
In the shotgun, Watson in motion, snap to Elway, and Elway's pass is coming and caught inside the 30-yard line. Mark Jackson is driven back, but his forward progress will be a first down at the 27.
When we broke the huddle, I knew that I was going to be the go-to guy. There aren't any other players in that particular play that would be open for a first down situation.
Got the ball back with 5:43 to go, and they've kept it ever since then. We're down to 1:19.
The snap. Elway's drop, the late pressure, throws the screen, and Sewell, 30, 25, down the sidelines, 20, cuts back inside, gets inside the 15, first down Broncos at the 14-yard line with 1:05 to go. 2nd and 10, 14-yard line.
Red 98! Red 98!
Watson in motion, left to right. Snap Elway, running to his right, trying to direct traffic. He's at the 10. John's at the 5 and skids out of bounds at the 4-yard line. 42 seconds to go. Broncos at the Cleveland 5. 3rd down and a yard. 20-13 Browns. Mark Jackson in motion. The snap to Elway. The look, the throw, touchdown! John Elway has just thrown the touchdown to Mark Jackson, 5 yards, 98.5-yard drive.
The fact of the matter is, I was never the guy to catch the ball in that. My whole goal and my whole purpose in that play was to rub, not pick, was to rub Vance's guy as he ran the shoot route, and he was going to catch the ball. And all of a sudden, I see his eyes just blow up, and he's looking directly at me. And when his arm goes back, I'm thinking, holy smokes, the ball's coming. And he throws a ball a million miles an hour and is going straight for the ground. And all I'm thinking is, drop. See if you can get under the ball. And somehow I get underneath the ball. And when I came up, it was just pure, total energy. It was incredible.
The Broncos went on to win in overtime and head to the Super Bowl. The drive that got them there will forever live in Broncos history. One year after the greatest drive in NFL history, the Browns had a chance to get even against Denver in the 1987 AFC Championship.
Man, this is what we've been working for now. Let's get at this. Get some field position right here. Let's go, D.
But it was all Broncos early on.
3rd and a dozen. Over the middle, incomplete, intercepted. It's intercepted on the juggle. Freddie Gilbert, number 90. He throws wide open, touchdown, Ricky Nattiel. Reverse Sewell, no one there for Cleveland.
Denver took advantage of many Cleveland mistakes and jumped out to a 21-3 halftime lead.
Turnovers always are a pleasant surprise. You always go into a ball game thinking that the guy that wins the battle of turnovers is going to increase his chances of winning. In the second half, Denver let Cleveland back in.
3rd and 11 for Elway. There's that Tarkenton roll. And then the throw downfield, intercepted. Felix Wright. Throwing for Langhorne, touchdown. Reggie Langhorne. And the Browns have capitalized.
After throwing an unlikely interception, John Elway redeemed himself.
So 3rd and 10 and a half. Elway runs into his own man and finally throws it complete to Jackson, who gets a first down and more. He may go all the way. Touchdown.
Big play. Houdini. Elway drops back in the pocket and it breaks down and he steps up and he bumps into a guy and he does vintage Elway. Throws me a little dink and I think it was Felix Wright that came up. The first guy that misses me as a cornerback. I take a look back to see if there's anybody following me and here's Chris Rock as I'm thinking, why is this guy chasing me? Let me go to the end zone. And he makes a dive right at the end there as I fall into the end zone. So
the longest touchdown play in postseason history. It ain't over with yet.
Cleveland never gave up.
3rd and goal. 4 wide receivers. Underneath to Slaughter for a touchdown.
And with under 11 minutes left in the game, it was tied at 31.
The Coast are perhaps answering what can we do to answer the drive of last year that kept us from going to the Super Bowl. We got to put a few drives together of our own.
Elway had one drive left in him also.
all I remember about that touchdown was maybe we scored too quickly. We're giving Bernie, I think, 4 minutes to go in the game. We scored really quickly.
A grand climax to the American Football Conference season. 30-second clock at 4. Kozar underneath for Brennan. Bucks in with a first down at the 44 of Denver. 14 yards on the play. 2 minutes and 10 seconds. Kozar to Brennan again. To the 24-yard line at the 2-minute timeout. The Cleveland Browns are 24 yards away from tying it again in Denver.
You had to reflect
back on the year before, because just as Denver had stolen the game in the final quarter with that 1st and 98 drive, now it was the Browns in the second half that seemed to have all the momentum.
I can tell you, number one, what we were thinking is turnover. Let's get the ball back.
Draw to Biner. Ernest Biner.
Fumble.
Fumble the ball, and Denver has recovered. Oh, my. Or have they? Let's wait for the official to unpile them.
There's a war going on under that stack.
There it is. Denver's ball at the 2-yard line. Biner had the 1st and goal and lost the ball.
As he took that handoff, and the collision was made with Castile, I know my call was hesitant because I thought Biner was going in for the touchdown. Had he not hesitated at the goal line, that's when I stopped. I was about to say, Biner, touchdown! Oh my, 38-38! What a game this is. Instead, there was this silence for a fraction of a second, Biner frozen, and then you realize that he had fumbled the ball. I didn't see the ball come out.
Right at the last minute, I decide, hey, I got beat last time bumping this guy. I said to myself, well, why don't I back off so that I can get a real good picture of everything as it's happening? By backing off and getting about 6-7 yards off of him, when the draw play happened, I could see it, see the play develop, and it gave me a chance to beat Webster Slaughter and keep him from getting a chance to block me and come up and get in position. And as I'm approaching Biner, I'm sitting there thinking, how do I want to try to tackle him? Well, the entire second half, he's pretty much run over everybody on our defense. And I said, no, that's not going to do any good. If I try to come up and tackle this guy, he's just going to run me over and go into the end zone. Best thing for me to try to do is strip the ball.
Jeremiah Castile, number 28, reaching in to strip that ball away. This Denver defense trained to reach at that football, to try to force those turnovers. They led the AFC this year in turnovers, tearing the heart out of Cleveland's offense.
The recovery is made by the Broncos where? On the 2-yard line. And wasn't it just a year ago that the Broncos had the ball on the 2-yard line? And that led to the victory.
This play will forever be known as the fumble, and it led the Broncos to their second consecutive AFC Championship victory over the Browns.
You know, isn't there thoughts of, being the third guy or the fourth guy to break 2,000 yards? Have I ever thought about that? Yeah.
Who knew? 2,000 yards. I mean, seriously, no running back goes into a season thinking about 2,000 yards because it's so far-fetched.
I'm putting that sort of pressure on you because I want to see you do it. Of course, I want to see you do it. Why not? You're not only representing.
In 1995, Terrell Davis entered training camp 6th on the depth chart. A 2,000-yard season was the last thing on his mind.
Low man on a totem pole. 6th-round draft pick coming in. You take everything in stride. You take everything in stride. I came in, and I remember just watching the guys that were in front of me. I felt that I had a chance to jump over at least 2 of the guys that were in front of me. Never thinking I can go all the way to the top.
That chance became a reality in an unlikely place.
In Tokyo, I couldn't do anything right. It was the worst day as far as practice I've had probably ever. I went back to the hotel, and I want to go home. I want to go the first thing out of here.
Davis stayed in Tokyo, and with one play on special teams, changed his life forever.
Absolutely crushed by rookie Terrell Davis.
And then it's like, whoa, look at the rook. Look at the rook.
Like, who is that? And it's like, that's TD, that's the running back. I said, running back?
You know, Mike Shanahan said he wants some people to impress him.
That's all it took was one play to make the whole team notice.
And, that's when we all recognized that he was a football player. And that's the highest compliment you can pay a guy. Wasn't a running back, he was a football player.
The last preseason game was Jacksonville, and we started Terrell Davis, and we wanted to see how good this guy was. Then after he played in that Jacksonville game, we knew we had our starter. And he was so deceptive, he could run through a guy.
Back to the middle, bounces off, into the clear.
And he had the speed, especially in that second half, to outrun people. You never know how a guy's going to step up. He looked so good. We knew he had something special.
Just as he did that first preseason, Davis got better each year he took the field. Entering the 1998 season, he had people talking 2,000 yards.
1,100 his first year, 1,500 his second year, 1,700. So if you're going to play the law of averages, you're going to say, hey, the guy's good for at least 1,900. I mean, he's increased 200 to 300 every year. So worst case scenario, the guy's going to give us 1,900 yards.
Good job. Hey, that's it. Nice running, Vinny. Nice running there. Nice work.
When I first came here, I was just hoping to make the practice squad. Never did I think that we would have won the Super Bowl and I would have been the MVP, and now I'm back here getting another contract. And those things were the furthest thing on my mind.
In 1998, Davis got off to a historic start.
With a nice move at the 10-yard line. Touchdown.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Good job, bud. Hell yeah.
TD has become the third man in NFL history to go over the 1,000-yard mark for a season in his first 7 games.
When he hit 1,000 yards after 7 games, that's when 2,000 became a reality, and that's when 2,000 became something we talked about.
Sometimes we're in the meeting, and I'm sitting there, and I have a pencil in my hand. I'm taking notes from the meeting, and all of a sudden I'm jotting down some numbers. And do the math, I'm averaging 120 yards a game, and then you figure out, you know what? If I can maintain this average per game, I might break 2,000 yards.
You're out. You're out.
Davis was piling up yardage despite sitting out significant portions of games.
One game in Philly, I think he came out at halftime. I think he had 170-some yards at half. I got to tell you, we were a little bit irked because we're like, gosh, the way we're running it right now, guy could come out of here with 250, 260 yards.
I remember at halftime coming back out, and my coach comes up to me and he asks me if I want to play in the second half. Now, I've never been asked if I want to play in the second half of a regular football game, ever.
One more series? No, I'm cool. Huh? Nah, they just don't take me out.
The rest of the game?
He's already rushed for 180 yards. And all of a sudden the game's out of hand. You're up by 21. Guys start taking shots. Guys get, and so don't risk it. Put him on the sideline. Hey, we'll go get 180 next week.
Davis sat out around 8 quarters during the 1998 regular season. Then, in Week 16 against the Miami Dolphins, he rushed for only 29 yards.
After the Miami game, I was talking to Derek Lavelle. I remember him just looking at me like, man, you could have rushed for 2,000 yards this season. I'm thinking, yeah, you're right, I could have, man. I mean, really, that was it. I was like, yeah, I could have. It's a done deal now. It's over.
No reason to do it. But I think we were dogged in our approach. We got to go get this. You got to give us a chance. And I think the coaching staff realized they were going to have to do it.
Good luck, TD.
And there would be a mutiny if they didn't let it happen.
By halftime, Davis had 82 yards.
After every run starting in the third quarter, we were shouting to the sideline, how many yards does he need?
And then you can see on the scoreboard, because it's up there, Okay, TD needs 100 more yards. TD needs 90 more yards.
No injury would stop Davis from pursuing history.
I had no idea how hurt TD was, and frankly, I didn't care. He needed to get 2,000 yards. That's what needed to happen.
By the fourth quarter, the dream was becoming very real.
It was palpable. You could taste it. You could feel it right around the corner.
The chants, TD, TD, TD. It was like some gladiator type thing, you know? Like I'm sitting there in this arena.
He is 7 yards shy of 2,000 yards.
Before the ball was snapped, it seemed like time had stopped. I'm thinking about, man, what if I take this all the way to the house? What if I fumble the ball? What if this happens? What's going to happen when I do it? Am I going to get up? Am I going to spike the ball? Am I going to go find my mama? I mean, I'm thinking about all this stuff.
He's behind Elway by himself. He takes the handoff, running left. Terrell breaks a tackle. He's got it. There it is. Terrell Davis is mobbed by his teammates on the sideline. He has just become only the fourth player in NFL history to go over 2,000 yards in a single season.
I looked at the scoreboard, just seeing it 2,000 yards, 2,000 yards. Yo, it's like, dang, it happened. That's the first time I had seen the number, the actual 2,000. You see 1,500, 1,900. You see the one for a lot of those stats. You rarely see a 2 for season total. What's special, man?
In 1997, the Denver Broncos traveled an unlikely path to Super Bowl 32. Despite winning 12 games, the Broncos entered the playoffs as a wild card. Road wins in Kansas City and Pittsburgh propelled Denver to its first Super Bowl in nearly a decade.
Denver goes to the Super Bowl. They are the AFC champions.
No one had a bigger stake in Super Bowl 32 than quarterback John Elway. For the most celebrated Bronco, the Super Bowl had never ended in celebration. At 37, Elway had one more chance to shed the label of greatest quarterback never to win a championship.
He'd never had a team around him before that was good enough to compete. I mean, he always carried that team on his back, so it was imperative that we picked it up as a group for him.
Go out, play your hearts out, we'll come out on top. Leave it out here, baby. Broncos on 3. 1, 2, 3. Broncos!
While the Broncos were the sentimental favorites, it was the Packers who were the heavy favorites. And on their first drive, it showed.
Here's Brett straight back in the pocket. Some time going to the end zone. Back there is Antonio Freeman. Touchdown, Packers! A 76-yard touchdown drive by the Packers on the very first series of the game.
That's all right. That's all right. Let's go. Let's go.
Denver had found a familiar place, trailing in the Super Bowl.
There you go. There you go. There you go. Go. Go.
But this time, it would be different. With everyone sensing a fold, the Broncos moved their chips to the center of the table and upped the ante.
Davis into the end zone, touchdown! A pretty good way for the Broncos to answer the Packers' opening drive.
I tell you what, stunned people on that Green Bay sideline.
What that first drive showed, not only us, but everybody else, we're here to play football. Can you match up? Because we're going to be here all day long.
Come on, baby, let's get that turnover.
Broncos dance up, blitz is on its way. Atwater's got 4, ball free, no indication. That should be the Broncos' ball. Yes, sir, Denver has
it. With the go-ahead score a few yards away, Denver almost lost sight of the end zone.
And I think Davis may be shaken up. Terrell Davis is on both knees, and this would be bad.
I said, hey, Coach, I got a headache. A headache in the Super Bowl. I mean, how can you have a headache in the Super Bowl?
Number 30 on the bench right now, getting some medical attention. My guesstimate is he may have a migraine. He's been taking some of that oxygen.
Can't see. What's that? Can't see. Okay, just do this. You don't worry about seeing on this place because we're going to fake it to you, the 15 lead. But if you're not in there, they won't believe we're going to run, okay?
Next, watch the screens and listen for you.
Terrell got to the huddle. He says, "Hey, I can't see." And I said, "Well, just go to the left and just run straight ahead, and I'll adjust to you." I said, "Don't worry about it. Just go left."
Elway brings McCaffrey in motion, play fake. Elway rolls right. He can run it in. John, it will trot into the end zone. Touchdown.
Green Bay really pitched everything inside, and he had daylight to the outside on the right.
The fact that the Packers are getting gassed by the Bronco running game really helps those play fakes.
This team is not better than us. They're not even good. We're letting them do that thing on. You act like we never seen them grow. Look, when you get back in the game, man, we gotta make a statement, man. We gotta make a statement. We gotta bust these dudes in the mouth. Bust them in the mouth.
The Packers were frustrated. The Broncos were focused. And with the score tied at 17 in the third quarter, Terrell Davis and the offense began to punish a tiring Green Bay front.
We run. You're going to be running all day.
We're starting to wear Gilbert down now. He's starting to having trouble getting up.
So, hey, big fella, Gilbert Brown, you got your work cut out for you.
Please, baby, Gilbert. Gilbert, please give it to me, baby.
Davis owned the Packers, rushing for 157 yards and 3 touchdowns. But it was an Elway dive that would define Super Bowl 32.
Elway can run inside the 10, head first. He dives inside the 5-yard line. My goodness, he wanted that first down.
I knew that I was going to have to find a hole. So when I got outside, the first thing I did, as you can see my eyes, I looked to see where the first down marker was. They stayed back long enough to where I could turn it up and really just tried to get that first down. I knew that they were probably thinking that I was going to go low. And so they did think it, and I put that old 5-inch vertical jump on them and went over the top and was able to get the first down.
That kind of play inspires your teammates.
Second and goal from the 1. Elway, Davis, same play. Davis to the end zone. Touchdown, Denver! That was a 93-yard drive.
Brett Favre answered. Despite the score, John Elway was right where he had hoped to be.
I can remember sitting in my room the whole week before and just praying. And all I asked for was, God, just give me a chance to win this late in the game. Just have us in the game, with 4, 5, 6 minutes to go to where we have an opportunity to be world champs.
With barely 3 minutes to play and the ball at midfield, Elway got his shot. This time, his teammates would do the heavy lifting for the quarterback who had carried them for so long.
And the hearts are pounding in Denver. Nobody but Terrell here. Davis into the end zone, rocking, standing up. Can you say Denver is in the lead? Third rushing touchdown. That's a Super Bowl record for TD.
The comeback kid now needed his defense to close the deal.
It's on our shoulder, baby. Somebody step up and let's make a play. Back up, guys. Let's win the ball game.
And 38 years without a championship in football has come down to one play. 4th and 6 with 32 seconds to go. This is it. Come on. Blitz is on. Favre hit as he throws. Pass is going to be incomplete. Denver holds. Denver's going to win it. Are you kidding me?
It was such an incredible accomplishment for that franchise, and also to get that monkey off not only that franchise's back, but to get it off of John Elway's back. To see him after John Mobley knocks down the 4th down pass, that was euphoria. Just to see the pleasure that he had on his face made it all worthwhile.
There's only 4 words. This one's for John.
To finally reach the pinnacle of your sport and what you love to do, it's hard to explain. I still get shivers when I think about it, and it was just almost a euphoric feeling for me because I'd finally reached, after 20-some years of playing football, I'd reached the pinnacle, and that's to be able to say that I was on a Super Bowl winning team.
In 1998, the Denver Broncos fielded perhaps the greatest team in franchise history. John Elway's final ride was memorable. The Broncos won their first 13 games behind a record-setting year by Terrell Davis. And easily galloped their way to a second straight Super Bowl.
They had the best coach in the NFL, period.
At 16-2, the Broncos entered Super Bowl 33 in an unfamiliar place, as prohibitive favorites. As they prepared to play the upstart Falcons and former Denver coach Dan Reeves, the Broncos found that being a heavy favorite can be a mixed blessing.
There are a lot of teams that's won one in a row. In order for you to start to be special, you got to win two. We wanted to be special. We thought we were special. We knew we were special.
Well, that was just angst. There was no excitement. My God, we've got everything to lose and nothing really to gain. Because if we don't win this game, we're an embarrassment. And if we do win this game, good job, you were supposed to win it. I mean, it was almost a sense of duty.
That's what we worked, this is what we played so hard for. Just remember, we can't win it in the first quarter, second quarter. We got to play 60 minutes of Bronco football. We'll be world champs. Let's go, Broncos on three. 1, 2, 3. Broncos! Set high.
It was tough to run the football that game. I remember Atlanta being very committed to stopping the run.
A year earlier, the Broncos had won Super Bowl 32 behind the running of Terrell Davis. The Falcons were determined not to follow the fate of the Packers.
You just knew that safeties and people were getting antsy to stop TD. You knew that the Atlanta Falcons were saying, we're not going to let TD run for 200 yards against us and beat us.
With that in mind, you can't stop our running game and then expect to stop us throwing the football.
John Elway turned to the passing game. After completing a series of short passes, a weakness in the Falcons' defense began to emerge. The Broncos moved to exploit it quickly.
John had noticed some things the secondary was doing.
More specifically, Eugene Robinson was playing right into their hands.
Eugene was so far down inside, and he was biting on the crossing routes.
And guess what? Rod Smith is getting down because we're about to punish him now.
Well, that'll be great, because if they do that and we do go in our ex-post, they're dead.
After baiting the Falcons, Denver finally broke open a close game in the second quarter.
Elway boots and rolls to his right, stops, loads it up, throws down deep the middle of the field. Rod Smith's got it. Here we go. 30, 20, 15, 10, 5. Rod Smith, Denver touchdown. 80 yards for John Elway.
When we called that play, there was a sense that this could be the big one.
Oh, it's going to be wide open. It is going to be wide open. Come on.
It was a play-action pass, and Eugene was just caught too far down inside, and Rod just beat him over the top.
Robinson, we're supposed to have middle containment, just got beat and then outrun.
A game like that, you can't afford to get beat like that.
And at that point, you knew, that's it, man. We're on a roll now. We are on a roll, and you're going up big. And when you get up like that, and you get up by a significant amount of points, then you start to feel like they can't catch us.
You got to get that defensive roll on the roll. Look what you guys done in the playoffs. Let's go, baby. Let's go, baby. Give up a touchdown. You know what I'm saying? You can't get up a touchdown. You haven't yet. You're not gonna.
The defense would dominate, turning the Falcons away with a barrage of big plays.
Fourth and 6 inches. Smith now in motion. Handoff, toss, right side, bounce deep as Anderson. He's in trouble, and the Broncos have him.
The Broncos forced 4 turnovers, including 3 interceptions.
Pass deflected. It's up in the air. Pass going to be intercepted. Go, 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 go! Denver's defense has been a huge factor in Super Bowl 33.
That's the way to go. Way to go. Way to hang in there.
With the game in hand, all that was left was a storybook ending for John Elway.
Elway with an empty backfield runs a quarterback draw, lunges to the goal line. Touchdown, John Elway and Denver. Elway with a big smile on his face, and why not? The MVP of Super Bowl 33 is John Elway. And Denver will become the 6th franchise in NFL history to win back-to-back Super Bowls.
It was storybook. It was like something you'd read to a little kid, you know. This is once upon a time, you know? And that was John Elway's career, I think.
And he did something that most people never get a chance to do in a lifetime, and that's win 2 Super Bowls. Congratulations to everybody in here. Now, off-season starts tomorrow because we're going to... Hey, this guy didn't have 2 better. I don't know if it's his last one.
Hell no!
Keep the pressure on.
And with the 25th pick in the 2010 NFL Draft, the Denver Broncos select Tim Tebow, quarterback, Florida.
What do you have to say to Denver, who believes in you, and everyone else who passed on you?
Well, I have to say to Denver is thank you, and I'm going to give everything in my heart, in my head, in my soul to all the critics and stuff. Just thank you for the motivation, because it truly has been an edge for me, and it will continue to be an edge for me.
After spending most of his rookie season on the sidelines, the former Heisman Trophy winner hoped to crack the 2011 starting lineup under new head coach John Fox.
You know, you can't overthink stuff.
Yeah.
Just do your job, man. You know what I mean? Just do what you're trained to do.
Despite strong fan sentiment, Fox named Kyle Orton the starter, and the Broncos began the season with a 1-3 record. In a Week 5 matchup against the Chargers, Denver trailed 23-10 at halftime.
The pass is picked off in coverage, Donald Butler, and they're booing Orton already.
In the second half, Fox relented.
This is what you want at Denver, so you're going to get a look at Tim Tebow. He's going to have to spark this offense.
Finally, I got something to cheer for. It's not Orton. Let's go, Broncos!
He'll run right up the middle, and there he goes into the end zone. Touchdown, Tim Tebow. If there's going to be any Tim Tebow miracle, it's going to be in front of a crowd that will not only erect a billboard for him, they'll name him mayor. Pass rush coming. Tebow looking, turns all the way around. Still looking, still being chased. Tebow, chased, still with it at the 45-yard line. Steps out of a sack. Tebow gunning to the middle of the end zone. It is taken away by the Chargers. It's incomplete. The Chargers win the game.
The late rally fell just short, but Broncos fans got a preview of things to come in 2011. Tebow's first start of the season came Week 7 in Miami, in the same stadium where he won a state high school championship and a college national title. Like many times in 2011, Tebow and the Broncos struggled, trailing the Dolphins 15-0 with less than 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
The crowd officially now has turned on Tim Tebow.
He's been in a big game a time or two. Something tells me he's going to be cool as ice water.
Looks in the end zone. Look out, Tim. Spins away from one would-be tackler. Now throws on the run. Pass caught. Demaryius Thomas, touchdown.
It's going to be an onside kick.
Prater with the kick. It is high up into the air. And I think the ball is loose. And Denver has the football. Don't go away yet. 25 seconds to go in the game. Design roll to the left side. Tebow sets, throws backside. This is going to be Fells. Fells is going to walk into the end zone. Denver touchdown. And And the Broncos are a 2-point conversion away from a tie. Tebow, quarterback draw. Tebow's going to be into the end zone. And we are tied at 15. We're going to head into overtime. Prater with plenty of leg, and it is good.
18 unanswered points. If you would have written this script, you wouldn't have believed it.
It's one of the great lessons that you learn in football is, that courage to keep fighting. When you're down, when you get knocked down over and over again, are you going to keep getting up?
Fox continued believing in Tebow. His faith would be rewarded with an improbable winning streak.
Tebow sets, throws, wide open. Eddie Royal inside the 10, inside the 5. Touchdown, Denver.
Tim Tebow today passes for 129 yards and 2 touchdowns. He ran for 119 yards. How many people have done that in pro football?
7:06 to go in the game. 10-7 Broncos. Tebow throwing long to the near side for Eric Decker. He's got him over the shoulder. 10-5 touchdown.
The second completion of the game for Tim Tebow.
I'm a football player first before quarterback, and whatever we can do to win games. And if we need to start throwing it, hopefully we'll be able to consistently throw it and be successful doing that.
He's the worst quarterback in the NFL. He can't make basic throws that an NFL quarterback does. There's no guarantee that Tim Tebow will be the starting quarterback of this team the rest of the year.
I think really you should go to Brady Quinn. I mean, Brady Quinn would give them a chance perhaps to compete and have a passing game.
If he doesn't win, it will not last long. He said it best, because in a football environment, you must win.
As the debate raged in Week 11, Tebow capped off an incredible 95-yard game-winning drive against the Jets.
He pulled off a miracle against Miami. A couple of road wins in the last 2 weeks. Can he do it again?
Tebow looking like he's going to get max blitzed. He does. Tebow escapes and he can run. 25-20. Tebow 15. Inside the 10. Inside the 5. Are you kidding? Go ahead and explain this one.
Something magical about this kid.
Denver's down 10-0 with 3:11 to go.
Why do we always got to do this? It's all right. Figure it out, man.
Don't go away just yet. Snap to Tim. Tim steps up. He can run. Tim's at the 10. Throws. Pass caught. Demaryius Thomas.
Let's go.
We are headed into overtime.
Hey, Coach Fox. Same deal?
Tim in the pocket. He sets, throws. Pass is going to be caught. Demaryius Thomas. Matt Prater can win it. 41-yard line. An attempt to 51 yards. Snap placement. Prater with plenty of leg on the way. And it is over.
Yeah! Yeah! Thank the Lord. Way to believe, baby. Way to believe.
The 6-game winning streak propelled Denver to a division title and a wild-card meeting against the Steelers. But not much was expected from the Broncos and their quarterback against the defending AFC champions.
I love the Tim Tebow story. I love everything about the kid. But here's the reality. He hasn't seen this year, nor at University of Florida, what he's going to see today.
Royal in the back of the end zone. Eddie's there. Eddie makes the catch. Touchdown, Denver.
Unbelievable.
Design quarterback, keep right guard. Tebow's inside the 5. Tim Tebow has a Bronco touchdown.
This is as animated as I have seen Tim Tebow now on the sideline, trying to get the rest of this team fired up as he is.
Ben Roethlisberger's touchdown pass to Jericho Cotchery late in the fourth quarter sent Denver to overtime for the 4th time in 2011.
We've been here before. Hey, we've been here before. It's nothing.
Tebow passed for a career-high 316 yards against the league's top-ranked defense. His final completion of the game was pure mile-high magic.
Denver's football, first snap of overtime here, tied at 23. Shotgun for Tim Tebow. Tim play fakes in the pocket, sets, throws, pass, caught. Demaryius Thomas out over the 45 midfield. Here we go. 40, 35, foot race, 20, 15, 10. Touchdown! Denver is over!
Denver moves on. The Steelers go home.
The crowd has lost their mind.
The trade to the New York Jets in the offseason officially ended Tebow mania in Denver. But fans will never forget the unexpectedly wild ride their quarterback took them on during that amazing 2011 season. In the NFL, the task of replacing a franchise quarterback can often be difficult. Replacing a Hall of Famer is another story altogether. On March 20th, 2012, 13 seasons after John Elway's final play, the position associated with a retired legend was filled by an active one.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is sort of a historic meeting today. Peyton is one of the best ever to play this game. And I feel very fortunate to have him here.
We didn't try to sell him hard. We wanted him to feel comfortable here and a place that he would want to come and work. I believe that he's got a lot of great football left in him.
I'm very excited to begin the next chapter of my playing career for the Denver Broncos. And this truly is a special football environment, and I am glad to be a part of it.
Due to surgery that kept him off the field in 2011, Peyton Manning's first game as a Bronco came 87 weeks after his previous start. Showing no signs of rust, the 14-year veteran immediately made up for lost time.
Manning in the shotgun, play fake, quick throw, Thomas. He's got a couple of blockers, and Thomas is off to the races. Here we go, 45 midfield. Thomas, 40, foot race down the east sideline, 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Denver! Demaryius Thomas, once again, has beaten the Steelers on a huge play. Peyton Manning with his 400th career touchdown pass. He joins only Brett Favre and Dan Marino. Roll left, Manning throws, pass going to be caught. Tammy's got a Denver touchdown. Great throw by Peyton Manning, and it has been a outstanding performance against a very good football team.
Hey, congratulations again, man. Welcome back. Appreciate you too, man.
You have one special game ball to a guy that reached 400 touchdown passes, the third one in history, and the fastest one to 400.
Following his Denver debut, Manning continued to rewrite history, setting franchise single-season records in completions, passing yards, and touchdowns with 37.
Manning throws the back shoulder fade for Decker. Decker makes the catch. Touchdown, Denver.
That is called a quarterback having faith and trust in his receiver.
We got to keep going. We know who we're playing against. We're playing against the Sheriff. Do not let up.
With just 2 wins in their first 5 games, it was the Broncos who wouldn't let up. Down 24-0 in San Diego, with just 2 quarters to play, the Sheriff went to work.
29 yards on the strike. Peyton Manning with great protection. And the Broncos on the board with 10:56 to go in the third quarter. Quick bubble route. This is Decker on the right side. Decker gets a block, runs right into Oakley, and into the end zone he goes. Touchdown, Denver. Denver is within 24-20.
With Manning's 3rd touchdown of the night, the Broncos took the lead for good and tied the NFL record for biggest comeback by a road team. More importantly, it marked the beginning of an 11-game winning streak, through which Manning would be the Broncos' driving force and vocal leader.
All right, let's address this now so we don't do it at the end of the game and say this is what went wrong, right? Okay, we've made mental errors on every single play. Okay, I don't have to review them, right? There's not one thing they've done to stop us, right?
Manning in the shotgun. Design roll to the right. Manning has the edge, looks in the back of the end zone, floats one. Stokely's wide open. And Brandon Stokely's got a Denver touchdown.
Probably one of the hardest throws to make is throwing back to the left while you're running to the right, throwing across your body.
Great job. Great job. Way to find the hole. That's what I'm talking about. All right, let's go. Let's quit waiting to the third series, right? Let's go. Sense of urgency from here on out, right? Let's go. Keep making plays. Let's go.
With Peyton Manning under center, the Broncos didn't just make plays. They imposed their will, averaging over 30 points per game.
Decker's inside the 15, inside the 10. Touchdown, Denver.
Manning was named the NFL's Comeback Player of the Year and helped Denver to its best season since 1998.
We got to go back and do it again, right? Make plays, right? 100% effort. Great play. Great play. Let's go. Hey, that's what it's about, right? We can do it. We have to, right?
By joining the Broncos in 2012, Peyton Manning rejuvenated a franchise and reminded fans of its glorious past.
We finally got it.
Among the Broncos' greatest moments, Manning's arrival may be the latest chapter, but it certainly won't be the last.
And Peyton Manning delivers a beautifully thrown ball.
Woo! That's what I'm talking about. This is the test, right? This is the test. Can you put it behind you, right? Can you put the last two plays behind you, right? Move on to the next one and go out and do our jobs, right?
If there's any doubt whether Peyton Manning is back and healthy, how about fitting it into this window?
Might be the greatest